how long does the Nike Vaporfly Next percent last? There have been some concerns about the durability and people saying that it doesn't really last that long. So I have tested this one to destruction, as you can see from this little hole here. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you about my experiences and how long this shoe lasted for me. So I've just done Windermere Triathlon, and about 2 kilometres from the end of the run, I felt this ripping in my left shoe, and it was the upper coming away from the sole. And you can see, I can get my finger through here now. It's quite a big hole. There are still quite a lot of strands holding it on, but clearly this shoe is on its way out. I managed to finish the run, and I could probably get away with wearing these again, which is lucky because they're still super hard to replace. And so the number, well, I've done 917 kilometres in these now, 917 kilometres. It ripped about 2k from the finish, so let's call it 915 kilometres, which is just under 570 miles if you still work in Imperial. So the official length for these shoes was 915 kilometres or 570 miles. So if you're doing, say, 20 kilometres a week, maybe 2 10-kilometre runs, then you can expect to get about 11 months out of these. And if you're doing more, you're doing maybe 30 40 kilometres a week, that's kind of 20 30 miles, something like that, then you probably only get 6 months out of them. So that's maybe comparable to other shoes. I've never actually had a shoe fail on me like this. I've never really had a shoe fail, to be honest. I tend to run them until the sole is just totally wiped away. And on one shoe, my first ever pair of Nike running shoes, I got a little hole. I could stick my finger through the bottom of it and touch the ground. But generally, I've never had a shoe rip before. I've just fancied an upgrade after 1,000 kilometres or whatever. So not quite as durable as other shoes, that's clear. The fact that it tore, never seen that happen on a shoe before. But also the idea that they're just like, you only get 50 kilometres or 200 kilometres out of them, or whatever it is. It's not really true. It's quite a durable shoe. I nearly got 1,000 kilometres out of it. Clearly not as durable as other shoes, but also it's not one of those things where you really need to save it for race day, in my opinion. And that's something worth considering, because if you are going to buy them and you buy some and spend a lot of money on them and think, well, I'm only going to use it for race day, then it's hard to do that, because do you really want to be running in an inferior shoe the whole time when you've got this really nice shoe and you can go out and you can do even stuff like parkrun, where it's not super important but it is timed? Do you really want to be running in a shoe that you don't really like as much as your super shoe? So if you do buy them, you might find actually you do want to wear them all the time, but that's not too bad, because they actually do last, depending on how much you run, comparable to another shoe, but not quite comparable because it did eventually break. The other concern is that there's some kind of performance drop off. So they're really good for like the first, say, running a marathon, but you want to save them for the marathon, because after you first run in them, then there'll be a drop off. I haven't noticed that. I put a couple of 100 kilometres in before I ran a 5k PB, and I haven't been doing much fast running recently because I've been focused on Ironman, but they still produce pretty good results for me. So I haven't really been lab testing whether there is a drop off, but I also haven't noticed one anecdotally. So in summary, they last quite a long time. They're not as durable as other shoes, but actually they have lasted nearly 1,000 kilometres, nearly 600 miles. And so you could, if you've got the cash, use them as an everyday shoe, because they are fairly sturdy. But it did eventually give way with this hole here, which is really annoying. So hopefully you found that useful. If so, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more running and triathlon videos.